starting soon screen. Adjust my screen there. Make sure I have the.
Swear. What will get us banned by Twitch?
Because we talked about that a lot during the stream. Yeah. Don't be a piece of shit. Cursing is fine.
Okay. Bean was cursing a lot, so I figured that was fine.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I'm not sure that I can prevent myself from cursing.
No. Okay. Ready when you are.
I am ready.
Okie dokes. And I have all the rules put up here. Just have to remember. Okay. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, and welcome again to another night of indie TTRPGs. This time, we're playing Told by Starlight again. Yay!
It's a good game.
They're good games, Brent. Dang it.
Good games, Brent.
Every time we make a joke that someone else has made already, I think someday I'll come up with original content. Today's not that day.
We're always funniest when we're not, like, being watched.
That is true. Yeah. But anyway, we're here. Playing Told by Starlight, made by the one true Ryan Khan. Who is you can find him on Twitter making, and on itch.io making TTRPGs, like the one we will be playing tonight. So we can give like a brief review of the rules, if that's a thing, because I know I need a refresher because it's been a bit. So
God, yeah, I need a refresher.
Right. Okay.
So Told by Starlight is an interactive game that about creating constellations and the mythology that surrounds them.
Yep. And we each take turns being this kind of the storyteller and the listener of the stories, and we get to ask questions about it and all other things to help flesh out the mythology.
It's a game played with generally pen, paper, and playing cards.
Mm-hmm.
Since we are socially distanced,
2 hours apart.
We just generally live in different cities. We are not using any of those. We're using digital cards and a digital shared drawing app.
Yep, which I'll actually transition to right here. There we go.
I love this layout. I need to learn how to do stuff like this in my streams.
It's not hard. It's just I'm just pretty meticulous with my things. And there's my mouse. Hello. The mouse will show up everywhere. It'll show up on like right now I'm on your nose and I'm on the star chart screen. Now I'm on my face and the star chart screen. It's just I have 2 monitors here. I have one here and I have one here. If you want a behind the scenes look, peek behind the curtain. It's an interesting setup, but it works. So Ooh. So, my voice cracked. This is fine.
It appears though my image has frozen.
Oh, has it really? Can you still hear me?
I can still hear you.
Okay.
Um, oh, I'm okay. Stream me is moving again,
Oh,
so
okay. Oh, on the stream. Okay. And if you're watching at home, first of all, thank you for watching, and we'll always welcome um, any tips, tricks, any fun. Let us know how your day is. How if you've ever played some of these games, that would be fun. Um, because the point of this show sort of is to um, expand our everyone's knowledge of these indie games and help them get recognized. It fills me with a lot of joy whenever I will tweet out and say like, "Oh, we're playing this game," and I'll tag the creator in it, and then the creator themselves will like retweet and say like, "Oh, I've really had so much fun making this game. You should go watch this." Because like, first of all, free publicity. Am I right? And also like you wouldn't get that, like you wouldn't get most of the times you wouldn't get like a shout out from the creators of like D&D or Pathfinder, but you do it in these
5e
games.
and Pathfinder and everything, like they're fun. I'm not saying they're not fun. I have put in countless hours into both of these games over the past several years. But sometimes it's nice to just play something that's totally different.
It's totally different and totally weird, and you're also
Totally
frozen
weird.
again on the stream.
God
And I
fucking
don't
damn
know
it.
why. I
Damn
don't know
it.
why. We can still hear you. I can still hear you, so that means the stream can still hear you.
Well, at least you're still accompanied by my beautiful voice.
Yes, and it's like a nice freeze frame. It's not, your face is a nice pleasant look right now when it's frozen. So I would, and it doesn't look
It
bad.
didn't stop in like the middle of a weird like
No,
transition expression.
no, it did not. It's you're smiling pleasantly. It's very nice. Maybe eventually it'll fix itself. Hang on, let me. Oh, I might have. I might have broken it. Now you're gone.
Can you still
Technical.
hear me though?
Oh, we can still hear you.
That's
Um,
good. How is everybody in the chat doing tonight?
Now you're just two dancing little squares.
It's my final form. You're not supposed to see that yet. It's like it's for the last half of the boss fight.
Yeah, it's the last stage of the fight. Botany Baybot says, "Good, I had a za." Ooh, I want some za. You keep you keep suggesting foods to me, Botany Baybop, and then me wanting so bad to have those food. That's our good friend Flower. So
She is part of the other stream that Avery does,
yes,
or is part of.
yeah, where we do play Pathfinder. Whoops. But yeah,
It's a great stream.
you could you try maybe disconnecting and reconnecting and try see if that works?
Yes.
It's just me. Hello. It's just me, you and me. Oh, never mind. V goes back.
Hello.
Hey, there we go. Okay.
Whoa.
Back to it. Back to the show. Okay. So, first
Like
thing. Hmm?
3 streams a week, and this is not counting the one over on Racis's channel, and this is the one that has the most technical difficulties every time.
It really does. It really does. I think it's like it's because it's a Saturday, I think, and everyone's on the internet on Saturdays. I don't know.
Works.
That's an excuse, certainly. Um, what do we do next? Oh, I'm stalling. Okay. Um,
Anyway, back to the game.
all right. So the way we start for 2 players, the rules are a little bit different. But so we each um, create 2 icons or 2 deities who are the like big figures in the mythos. So we first draw a constellation on the star chart using between 2 and 10 stars and write the name of the constellation on the star chart next to your constellation. And then we select an archetype for them as well, which is on the sheet that I'm looking at. So, do you want to draw yours first?
Sure. So, give this a whirl. I'm drawing on a little tablet. Jeez, what do I draw? Um,
Okay.
to that.
And what is it? Who is it?
To like. I have to do something with it, huh?
Yeah, this is.
Let me look at the.
You're the one who wanted to play this again.
That's true.
Not that I didn't also want to play it.
Yes. It. I want it to be the archetype of the outsider. So the archetype coming from outside gives certain insight, mistrusted and misunderstood. And this is the hermit.
That's gonna be an issue. Hang on.
Ah, shit.
Trying to remember how to flip it back. Sorry, I flipped it because hang on, flip horizontally. Hey, there we go. That works. Hermit. Sorry, on the stream it was flipped over because I had it flipped. Oops. But it's fine now. All right, so the hermit.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go next. Oops, I did not mean to do that. Okay.
Watching this happen in real time on my tablet is wild.
um. Okay. I'm going to call this one the hero. That's the archetype that I've picked for it. And it will be named the Zay Zaya. Here we go. I'm writing it down. That's what I'm doing. Vizaya. Oh, and I'll write it down on the screen because that's what I'm supposed to do. Oh, see, this is where the struggles come in because I'm left-handed, so
This app doesn't really have a
text box.
input,
Oh, does it?
does it?
No, it does not.
Wow.
Everyone, please make fun of my awful handwriting.
You are writing with a mouse. And
With my non-dominant hand, I'm
yes.
gonna back up and because that Y was really bad. That's a better Y. Hey, okay.
Did it.
Hey, let's draw your second icon.
I think I know what I want it to be, but I don't know what shape to give it.
I don't even think. I just draw lines together and then I go, that kind of looks like a something.
I want to how do I fucking undo that?
On the top, there's a undo button. There you go. Okay.
The trickster archetype
Okay.
named. Let's name it. 30 for.
30 for.
Which is actually a trickster spirit from a setting that I'm working on anyway. A world building exercise that I am working on anyway.
You stole from yourself.
Yes, I'm a cheater.
You cheated.
There are actually multiple trickster entities in that setting, and each of them like a different level of mean. Dirty Fur is the meanest.
Okay, my turn. Oh, off to a bad start.
I'm doing fine.
Bop. 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 Sure. That works. I'm trying to pick one that we haven't done from the last game. Let's do the Oracle. And this
Which is
one's
of insight that some call divine visions, the burden of knowing.
fun.
Oof.
The mortifying ordeal of being known.
An ordeal of the existing.
Its name shall be. I'm gonna go unoriginal. It's gonna be the Seer. So let me write that down.
Earlier today, Avery and I were texting about postmodern art and Dadaism, and particularly art like A Curse 1992, which is a statue. It is a plinth and the 11 by 11 foot cube of air above the plinth, which contains a curse by a witch.
Yep. I think it's an 11 by 11 inch cube.
Not foot.
Not foot, I don't think. Because that would be really big.
That would be really big.
Because they do accommodate for the space whenever they ship it around.
So it's slightly less than a foot cubed.
What made you bring this up?
We were talking about the mortifying ordeal of blah
Oh.
blah blah, and ever since we started talking earlier today about that sort of art and other like art where the entire point of the art is that there's not really anything there, I've been thinking about like the complications of observing and being observed.
Oof. Yeah. That's
As we are right now, being observed.
as we're being observed, talking about being observed.
Talking about being observed.
Whoa. Freaky. Okay.
Wild.
Huh. Wild. Alright. Oh, hopefully you can hear my mouse going. Alright.
You enjoyed that little glimpse of insight into what Avery and I do when we're not streaming?
It's either that or playing Pokemon in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Which might be coming to a stream near you.
God, I hope so. They're so cute.
They are. Okay, so we've all finished making our icons, which is the two
Yes,
of
we
us.
have.
So we introduce them, which why don't we introduce them and then take turns telling a tale? Like we introduce them and then tell the tale, describing your icon's relationship to another icon.
Yes.
So, who wants to go
Okay.
first?
Well, I drew mine first, so if you would like to talk about yours first.
Sure. I'll talk about the hero, Vizaya. So the way I drew it, I just drew a bunch of lines and then I went, that kind of looks like a bird. So that's what Vizaya is. Is he? Pronouns. They. They are a half. They can take the form of a humanoid person, but their true form is of a bird that is known for traveling across borders and seas and mountains and spreading all kinds of spreading, like, some say civilization, some say like like knowledge, some say other things like that aren't as kind of colonialist as those imply. Oh gosh, bringing peace and goodwill, all that kind of stuff.
We're working through some of that whole like white settler bullshit here live on stream.
I'm processing in that real time, being like, "Ooh, hang on." No, they travel across the world and giving like helping those in need and never staying in one place for too long because there's always people in need in other throughout the world. And I would like to make a relationship between the Zaya and the hermit. Well, why don't you tell me about the hermit first, and then we'll make a connection.
I drew the hermit to be kind of a like I picture her as sort of a crone, kind of bent over with her cane, very old, in like a cloak with very long gray hair that like falls forward over her face.
Hmm.
She's You know how sometimes when people get like old and they're just like, I'm a senior citizen. I don't actually have to obey the laws of society anymore because who's gonna stop me?
And they just get super weird about it.
Yes, that
Yes.
is what the hermit is.
Hmm.
She's like just super weird, a super weird old person. She has like been around the block, but she's also like everyone else is kind of young to her and the society around her is very young to her.
Okay.
So she's not like, even if she weren't like someone who consciously decided to be super weird, um she would still be something like she would not fit in.
Okay.
She represents all of the people um who have who see the society from the outside and who are not like welcomed into society because they're too different. Um, and the ability to see things, to see the way that societies move more clearly because you're not caught up within the power struggles and cliques and social mores that are going on. So
Mm.
you can step back and say, hey, actually, that's kind of a fucked up custom.
That's messed up. Yeah. Okay. I really like that. So I do want to have like a connection, a relationship between Visaya and the hermit. I would like to think. I don't know. I feel like. Would you say that like the hermit is older than all of the other mythological figures, or could Visaya be just as old?
Could be just as old. I think that the hermit is just kind of someone who, even if you're the same age as her, she just seems old.
Oh, okay. And I definitely think, in contrast, Visaya, if they ever choose a human form to like in certain legends, they're usually portrayed as a more younger figure, kind of sporting like the young optimism, the naivete of of wanting to help everybody and be able to and trying to be able to do that. And I think I never specified what kind of bird they would be, and I think they would be a cardinal because I really love cardinals. Cardinals are good birds. You heard it here first.
Is there really such a thing as a good bird, though? Because I think out of all like groups of animals, birds might be the one with the greatest capacity for evil.
You're are you including dolphins in that list? Because dolphins can actually be evil.
You're right. Whereas crows have have like developed to the point that they can pass information to each other and use tools, and they do that, and they're actually like nice to each other about it. Maybe birds are nice.
Birds are nice.
Birds are good.
They can be jerks, but they can also be really sweet.
Okay, I
They're a lot
changed
like humans. I
changed
watched
my
you
mind.
change your mind in real time. That was pretty great.
Dolphins evil.
Dolphins evil.
Birds neutral.
They're neutral.
The same capacity for evil or good as a human.
They're sorry to any dolphin lovers out there. Um, you're not welcome here. I'm sorry. Anyway, um, so I like to think that there's like a kind of a dichotomy between the hermit and Visaya. I think kind of she is she her, right, for the hermit? Okay.
An old lady, because I think old ladies are the bomb.
That is very true. Um, I think she kind of represents while she represents more older, kind of more like older and like outsider, and like separate from society, and Visaya represents the younger and those in society. Um, I like to think that while normally one would pit them as like maybe not enemies, but maybe like rivals, I think they're actually friends. I think that would be
Ship.
nice if they're friends.
I think it
And
would be nice if they were if they were friends.
if they were friends,
Why would they fight?
well, they're friends. Yeah. And I like to think that Visaya does their best to make sure that those who aren't included in society eventually like are or can at least keep the ones who aren't protected in the society safe and maybe guide them to the hermit's care, um, and does their best within the society to like make it a more tolerable place for those who are outside of it. So yeah, so I think they have kind of a it's kind of like how some people depict life and death being like friendly with each other. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Oliver. Stop the show. It's Oliver. Hi, Oliver. Hi, baby boy. Oh, him. Oh, there he goes.
There he goes. He's off camera now.
That was so important. That filled me with life. Oh,
He's
man.
an important little boy.
He is very important. Okay. Why don't you talk about your next one? Because I just talked a lot.
Okay. Fuck. Okay, so Dirty Fur. Trickster. The Trickster. Dirty Fur is a character, a deity. It's complicated from one of the settings that I work on as a like very drawn out world building exercise. um Dirty Fur is one of several trickster figures
Okay.
in that setting, but I guess here would be the trickster. Dirty Fur is an it's just like
Okay.
me. And appears generally as a very large, hulking animal of indeterminate species with very thick, matted fur of indeterminate color. Um,
Oh, there's a tail.
but generally, Dirty Fur does not actually appear in person ever, and is sort of the deity that you want to appease, but you also don't want to draw the attention of, and you don't really want to like have to pay attention to. Its entire modus operandi is that it when people become complacent in or stagnant in their lives and in their roles, Dirty Fur rolls up to throw a curveball forces uh that forces you to like grow and change. Uh or if you become arrogant, Dirty Fur rolls up and knocks you down a peg.
Oh boy.
So its intentions are good, but it's also one of those like it's like Yeah, sure, good guy. I love it when Dirty Fur just goes ham on a politician that I hate. But oh my god, I do not want Dirty Fur's attention at all. Sanctuary.
it's it's like I can appreciate what you do, but for the love of God, do not talk to me.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. Do you want to make a relationship between either of your two to any other two or any other one?
Well, why don't you tell me about the seer and we will see.
Hey.
Heh.
Haha.
Hoo-hoo.
So the seer is mm, I'm rolling with the what's a give me a good neopronoun to use. Not they're all good, but I'm just trying.
They're all good. Uh and they all just fled my brain. Co self.
Co self. Okay. Um so yeah. Co is a is an individual that you don't that no one has ever really seen. There's people guess as to how Co looks, but there's no real determine what Co actually looks like, and that's because Co hides in the spaces that no one looks and predicts the events that no one thinks about and sees the things
I
that
love this
nobody
concept
and sees the things that
so far.
nobody looks at. Um, and one of the things that people can't see is the future, but they Co can. Um, and and also like everyone looks at the past, so Co has no interest in the past, only the future and the present of things not noticed. And yeah, they're represented usually as a this kind of weird triangle with many sides, um, as a like illustration of like how coexists and yet does not is not perceived, like kind of a dichotomy, like um of opposites. Kind of it's a triangle but has more than three sides. Whoa, it's wild. Oh yeah, that's the
Sing
seer.
some Oxenfree.
Oh yeah, I was
Uh,
heavily inspired by Oxenfree when I just drew a triangle. Me draws a triangle. Is that Oxenfree? Holy shit.
you know, is good. I
Yeah, that's all.
yeah, that's all I got. It's good and it's also too spooky for me because I'm a weenie.
Yeah, it was a good game. I recommend it, especially for this spooky season. Um,
Anyway, I
but
very
yeah.
much enjoy the concept of an oracle who exists like where you can't see Ko, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think it's interesting. I like Ko lives in the future, kind of, and that's
Yeah.
why no one can see Ko, but
Oh yeah, that's a really good idea.
Ko
Yeah.
can see everyone else because everyone else
Coexists
is.
just out of time, just out of phase. That's such a
Boop.
really cool concept. Okay.
Well, I was just building off of the concept that you had created.
No, yeah, but that was a really great addition.
It's
Okay.
what this game is about.
Hell yeah, storytelling. Hell yeah. All right. Now make a relationship.
Make a relationship. Um, relationship. Turn to the cards. Sacred texts.
Sacred text.
So when you are so this game comes with when you're having trouble coming up with an idea, it has consulting the muse. So there are several like different tables that you can draw playing cards based on. A card table for like helping to choose relationships or personality traits or story elements, etc. And I'm gonna do that right now for um, the relationship between, I think, the hermit and the seer. So let me draw a card. That is the Three of Hearts. So hearts and diamonds represent a positive relationship, and three is parent and child.
Ooh, okay. So
Ooh, that's interesting.
between who?
I actually kind of want it to be that the seer is the hermit's parent. Like you would assume that it was the other way around, but it's because I love the sort of theme of role reversals or not quite what you'd expect that we've been doing with this so far.
Okay, so who is it again? Sorry.
That
So,
the seer is sort of the hermit's parent.
oh, okay. Oh, I really like that.
Maybe not like in a traditional sense, but more that like
In a like a spiritual sense, I guess.
there's a lot of mythologies where like there was a god and then that god like split up into component parts of itself,
Okay. So the hermit is just like she kind of sprung fully formed
like Athena
like
from
Athena.
Zeus's head,
Yeah.
except from this. The hermit is maybe like what the seer left behind
Okay. That
as the
yeah.
seer exists outside of time in the future, and the hermit instead exists um, in the present, but in a way that is troubling to the present.
Okay, consider this. What
Yes.
if the seer is just the hermit's future self, but the future self just keeps going through the future and has always existed and kind of exists out of time, so there
So
will reach a point where the hermit will become the seer, but that's like and then at that point whatever happens, Ko becomes part of all of time and space.
such a galaxy brain thought, and I'm really here for it.
Yeah, man. It's boom.
And it's so like I that could easily be like a negative relationship of like the trope of meeting your past self and not really liking them. But since
Mhm.
I drew the Three of Hearts and hearts is a positive relationship, I maybe they're not necessarily friends or they don't necessarily interact too much, but they have like respect for each other.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
you would have to have respect for yourself,
yes.
and like the thing is, I think the thing that would really determine this is if the hermit, whether or not the hermit knew or knows that the seer is.
We're get we're getting into some deep mythos. This is why I like this game.
Yeah, it's just
For stuff
ooh,
like this.
ooh, yes, that's all right. So, what do you think? Would she know?
I think they do. I think they exist in a sort of recursive situation where the past self and the future self exist simultaneously
Right.
and have kind of always existed simultaneously, sort of creating each other in a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
Like
Okay.
the past self's, the hermit's existence now means that the seer will exist in the future, but the seer exists throughout all time
Mm-hmm.
and therefore ensures the existence of the hermit in the present.
Right.
So they're just in a,
Like a Mobius strip.
yes, it's a Mobius strip of two people who are each other's past, present, and future selves
Right.
constantly.
And that really fits for the seer's aspect of both being an oracle to predict the future because it has already experienced the things of the future, and this aspect of being things that aren't seen because you can't you can't see your future self, but you can you can affect your future self
The,
and be affected by.
and in contrast, the hermit is someone who makes herself purposefully visible
Mm-hmm.
um, in order to affect change to the present, um, and to criticize the things that have been carried on from the past.
Right.
Where
Damn.
the seer doesn't really concern co-self with the past that much because the hermit has already done that.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And maybe the hermit doesn't care so much about the future because the seer has it taken care of.
God, I love this.
It's a
This is such a good
self-fulfilling.
game.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay. Now I want to pull a card. Okay.
This is just a game where we just end up going like, oh my god, that's so smart. Oh my god, genius at each other for like 2 hours, um, which is great.
Okay. I pulled the two of diamonds. So siblings. Hmm.
Siblings.
Siblings. Siblings. Um.
My sister. This is my brother.
Stop.
Siblings. Be careful. I'm sorry,
Stop.
Brian David Gilbert.
Don't come for me. Don't come for
I did
us.
once. I did once send that video. I have a much like Brian David Gilbert. I have a twin and an older sibling, and I
Hmm?
sent them that video, and they both immediately sent me back angry faces because I had gotten it stuck in their head.
I love that. Um. Okay. So a positive relationship between siblings.
Siblings.
Stop.
I'm sorry, it's stuck there now.
It's the echolalia. Just like get out of here.
Yeah.
Visaya. I'm debating whether I want the sibling relationship between Dirty Fur. I want it to be between Dirty Fur and someone else, but I'm not sure who else. Maybe this.
Be interesting if it were Visaya,
That would be interesting.
because Visaya, they represent sort of like aid and progress
Right.
and innovation. And Dirty Fur is sort of similar, but more in a like, hey, you've been doing the same thing too long. So I'm gonna, you've been stacking these cups too long, so I'm going to come and kick these cups and squish them, and now you have to go find something else to do.
Yeah. And then the only thing I'm thinking about now is trying to make that a positive relationship between them. Um,
Yeah,
So I think it's if as like if you have siblings, you can kind of understand like even if your sibling does awful things sometimes, you still love them very much. Um, and you can like you're able to like I think Vizaya and Dirty Fur I think Vizaya knows Dirty Fur knows it much more well than maybe it knows itself. And they know sort of that deep down, that they're actually a very good person or a good individual, um, and and does all the things it does because it's doing it to help like progress society and like help keep it from getting too stale and keeping certain people from becoming too powerful and all that. And Vizaya really appreciates that. Um, of course, there are times when Vizaya has to go and clean up Dirty Fur's messes because Dirty Fur does something too extreme and people get hurt, and people who shouldn't get hurt. And Vizaya, they have to swoop in and kind of help people out. But I think,
It's
yeah.
it's like the anime trope of a tsundere. Um, like it's not like I'm doing this to help you or anything. It's not like I like you or
It's
anything.
not like I like doing this or
And
anything.
Bazea is just like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever you say.
Yeah, yeah. I think Vizaya is definitely the big bright eyed optimist, and maybe Dirty Fur is like the grungy, gross like
Grump,
person grump. Yeah, yeah. I like
the
that.
grouch.
Yeah, it's like a grouch.
I love this.
Okay, so those are our relationships between all our icons. Um, all right, so next we go into the creating the mythology. So this was just the primer
Right? And
to
that
the
took
actual
us
thing.
almost an hour.
Yeah, we had some tangents in there. It's fine. Okay, so the gazer draws a card and draws a constellation on the star chart.
So you draw the amount of stars that the number is, ace through 10, and I can't remember for Jack, King, Queen. Oh no, wait. Jack, King, Queen, Ace have like different
Yeah.
number rules, right?
Um. Yeah. So pull a card. Are you on the same site that I'm on for the card thing?
It doesn't look. I thought I was, but it's starting to look like I might not be.
Yeah, because I don't see you on my end. Do you want me to try sending the link again?
Yes.
Okay. Mm, Whoops.
Linkity link. Linkity link.
Everyone can see the link, but that's okay. Just don't join. Be a doll and don't join. And you're gonna end up seeing some stuff there. Go. Okay.
E. Paste. Enter. Am I? Nope. No.
Can you see me moving this card around?
No.
Hmm.
Try that again. Lemon.
Lemon.
I was trying to copy and paste the link, because otherwise, so that I could open it in Google Chrome, because otherwise it'll default to Internet Explorer, because like
You haven't changed that?
fuck me, I guess. I This is my work laptop. The company intranet is configured for for Internet Explorer,
Yeah.
and I'm lazy. I still do not see that.
Okay. Well, for the viewer's sake, I think if I can just pull the cards from.
That should be fine.
Okay.
Because I can see it on the Twitch stream. So.
Okay. All right. So the number pulled is a 4 of spades. Sorry. Yes, spades.
That sure is a spade. The archaeologist's favorite tool.
Oh boy.
Guess who it is?
Who is it?
Boy. The boy.
It's him. Oh. It's him. Hi, Oliver.
Boyus interruptus.
Boyus interruptus. Oh, sweetie baby.
It's his stream now. We're just living in it.
24 hours of just Oliver. Oh, baby boy. Oh, he loves getting scritches.
He does. Loves having his little chin scratched, his little cheeks squished. Yes, he does. This has become an Oliver stream.
Welcome. Cancel everything else for the rest of the day. This is just an Oliver stream.
Good boy. Okay, but I'll keep my camera on him, but you can.
All right, so I pulled a 4 of spades. So, oh gosh, did you want to be the gazer first, or should I?
Oh, dunk. So the way this game works, and correct me if I'm remembering it wrong, the gazer draws the constellation and names it, but then the storyteller comes up with an idea based on that, right? Or is it because we're two?
Because it's 2 of us, we draw and the person draws and names it, and then the other person becomes the teller. Tells the story, and also the gazer will also have to make 2 interruptions during the.
Okay.
And it's usually in the form of a question.
You just did some talking for the relationships. So
Okay.
if you would like, then you can draw and I'll be the teller.
Okay.
For this first one.
Sure thing.
To give you a little bit of a.
Thanks for getting my throat a good break. Okay. So I drew a 4. So that means draw a constellation with that many stars. And the suit is the spades. So it'll be about, this is for you. The story will be about creation, discovery, or invention. Nope. Come on. 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna name this the sickle. Comrade. No, I'm gonna. I hope I spelled sickle right. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. So,
Okay.
I have drewn it and I have named it. It is all on you.
On it. You have named it. It's a me. It's a me, Mario.
Hmm.
Da, 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 da. Trying to find the table that. Okay. Suits is creation, discovery, invention.
Mm-hmm. Do you
But
want me?
for the.
Do you want to draw a card for a theme?
Yes.
Okay. You got the Jack of Clubs.
Of clubs. Temptation. That is what it is on the themes chart.
Oh boy.
Holy shit. My boy. So creation and temptation. Rhyming words.
Mm-hmm.
A dunk. It's kind of difficult.
Yep.
Goal. I think I want to tell a little story about the one time that Dirty Fur had to clean up after a mess Vizaya made rather than the other way around. Because
Ooh.
usually it's the other way around.
Okay.
Um, so a long, long time ago, Vizaya had traveled to this farming village and had helped them learn new techniques for farming, um, how to get a higher yield of crops and support a bigger population and make things easier on themselves. But Vizaya just being there kind of made everything easier, and the people of this village got greedy and
Ah.
tried to keep Vizaya there. Um, and at first like it was just with words like, "Oh no, you can't leave yet. You promised that we would do XYZ." And then like and Vizaya would be like, "Oh right, I did say that. Let's blah." But slowly Vizaya was like, "Okay, no, but I really gotta go now. I really gotta." And the people of this village just kept kept blocking them from leaving
Oh.
and escalating their tactics.
Oh jeez.
And meanwhile, Dirty Fur is like, I have not seen my sibling in a while. And also notices, because Dirty Fur has a second sense about a sixth sense about like when an area or a group of people are like getting a bit too big for their britches. Um,
Britches sense, as they say.
a britches sense, and so Dirty Fur strolls on into uh this powerful center of agriculture. It's like, huh, all of you seem to be doing very well for yourselves. I wonder why that is, because like you're doing very well for yourselves. It looks like the stream just went offline.
I that was my bad. It should go back in a second.
Okay. Hey, we're back.
Yeah, sorry, my bad.
And Dirty Fur eventually figures out that it's because they're keeping Visaya trapped. And so Visaya's influence is like, and like godly might is sort of just making things like drawing luck and prosperity to the city, which used to be a little farming village, but is now Bigham City. And Dirty Fur is like kind of tries to be like, oh, all of you are arrogant and I hate that, so I'm gonna get back at you. But it's really like, you did fucking what to my sibling? How fucking dare you? Um, and what happens is Dirty Fur, through a series of complicated tricks and schemes and tests, manages to get a sickle to Visaya. Dirty Fur does not do it directly, but rather like manages to maneuver events such that a young farmer on their way home from the fields happens to drop the sickle. A guard picks up the sickle. Someone else takes the sickle, blah blah, and eventually it gets to where Visaya is being held, and Visaya uses that to escape. And also they know that Dirty Fur set everything up for their escape.
Oh yeah.
But Dirty Fur is kind of like, I didn't even know you were there.
What does Dirty Fur do to the city after Visaya escapes?
I think it plans at first to kind of just let them have to deal with like the reality of not having a god on call. But it gets kind of angry, and what actually happens is that it sends. It says it didn't. It says that, oh, it was just a natural event that I had no control over. But that very summer that Visaya escaped, a plague of locusts descends on the fields and just eats everything.
Oh wow.
Which Visaya doesn't really like because there were a lot of people in the city who like didn't have any control over what was happening to them or didn't even know that Visaya was being held captive.
Aw.
And so Visaya, being kind and reasonable, unlike Dirty Fur, who's kind of like, well, fuck them. They were keeping you captive. Visaya goes and takes the sickle and turns it into seeds and plants just enough to help the people get back on their feet after this plague of locusts has swept through, just enough to prevent a famine. And then as soon as they're done with that, immediately disappears. Like,
You can't catch me again.
I'm not gonna let you all starve, but I'm also not sticking around to test my luck again. So I guess in
yeah.
the end, it sort of turned into Visaya again fixing Dirty Fur's mistake.
Yeah. um, what happens to the city like long after that? Does it stay a big city? Does it reduce back down to a village?
Yeah, after Visaya, after Dirty Fur's locust plague, and after Visaya leaves the city, without Visaya's influence, isn't able to maintain its agricultural output, and therefore can't maintain its population anymore. So it starts to dwindle. People move away. Some people they learn about what the leaders of the city had done to Visaya, and um, are like, well, I can't live in a city that's going to be doing shit like that. um, and it dwindles, and it eventually becomes a tiny little farming village again. Um, and the name of the great city is lost to time, to the point that no one actually knows where the city was.
Oh.
It's just
Well,
when you cheat, you get removed from history.
yeah, it's like those historical accounts where it's like, oh, we don't have to write down where this city was. Everyone knows where it is, and then no one writes it down, and then so everyone just forgets.
Yeah. Also, Dirty Fur kind of made sure that most of the information about it wouldn't be recorded, because Dirty Fur was like, oh, you did all of that to be powerful and big and cool? Well, I'm gonna make sure that no one even fucking remembers you,
Brutal.
asshole. While the entire time going, it's just because I don't like arrogant people. I wasn't doing it for you, Visaya.
Oh, that's sweet. Okay. Oh, want me to pull a card for you to draw?
Yes.
Okay.
Pull me a card, ma'am.
Queen of Clubs.
Okay. So, clubs represents bravery, adventure, and war, and the queen has special rules. So the gazer points to one constellation, then using between 2 and 10 stars, draw a new constellation distant from the one you pointed to.
Okay. So which
And
one
then
you?
the teller tells a tale explaining why the two constellations are so far apart.
Oh, okay. Um,
Okay. Clubs is bravery, adventure, and war.
okay. So which, first off, which one are you distancing yourself from?
Go with the hermit, just because it'll be easy to draw something in the direct opposite corner from her.
Cool.
trying to find the right pattern to do this in.
Hmm.
Yeah, whatever, that works. And this is the tiara. And now I leave the rest to you.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Them's the breaks.
Them's is the breaks. Let me pull a card here for a theme. Ooh, Ace of Spades. Persecution. Persecution, bravery, adventure, war.
Hoo.
Okay. There was an object, a tiara, that was long forgotten who made it. The only thing that was known about it was that it was rare and unique and priceless and coveted by everybody. The people who possessed it were an outcast group of people who had long ago who had kept the tradition of keeping this tiara safe. And some say that even kept secret within their own peoples. They know the true meaning, the true relation, the true creation of this tiara, its true purpose. But because of its appearance, because of its value, it was coveted by countless other nations. And these people, wherever they would go, they were nomadic, and they were always treated as other. Because they would not allow others to possess the crown, would not let others see the crown, would not the tiara, I should say. And then
I feel a bit like an emperor's new clothes kind of situation. Does the tiara even really exist?
and it does. Because one day, one nation stole the tiara, and this took it out of their hands. And you would think where the story was going, because there's clubs, there's war in this, that the people who kept it safe would go to war with the nation that did it, but they didn't. They turned to the hermit to help them. The hermit saw them and said, I will take you in, but I do not relate, I do not interfere with society. I do not. Sorry, should I do an old lady voice for this? I do not. No.
Does kind of interfere with society.
She does.
She just likes to make trouble and point out how ridiculous things are.
Okay,
So I
but
guess that's not really interfering.
yeah, so she's not one to like wage a war against someone
Yeah.
who stole an artifact from someone. So these people, they turned their backs on the hermit because she would not help them. Um, and the war broke out eventually against varying nations as they each coveted and exchanged hands the power and possession of the tiara. Um, and it wasn't until it was sort of like a war on three fronts, wherein two nations would be warring, and then this group of people, um, for to give them a name, I will just call them the bearers, as in like torch bearer or tiara bearers. Um, they would always be trying some way to get the tiara back for themselves and bring things back to some sense of normalcy. Um, but wherever they went, and because of this, wherever they went, they were not exactly welcome, because people who saw them knew that they what they were here for, and because they selfishly wanted it for themselves, they would shun these people away. Um, and it's hmm, and this went on for years and years and years and years and generations until one um, nation, at the behest of Isaiah, um, or the strong suggestion of Dirty Fur, um, took and returned, like ended the war and returned the tiara back to its people. Um, and from then on, things were not things never went back to normal. They always There's always a twinge of animosity between the bears and all the other nations who coveted the tiara, but the bears knew why were wiser this time and know and would never allow it to be stolen again. But they also remember the hermit's refusal, at least in their minds, refusal to help them. And so that is why the tiara is so far from the hermit. Any questions?
What is the true purpose of the tiara? Or has it been lost to time?
The bears know the true purpose, to look pretty. Yeah, a Botany Bay Bot says to look pretty. That is also one of them. Um, no, it's not to look pretty. That's what outsiders have sort of placed onto it. It's more of a spiritual um, guide and contract between the bearers and whatever creed or whatever philosophy they hold to. It represents it for them. I'm sorry
Loving
about.
the
I'm, so,
audience
I'm
participation
sorry
on
about
the
Nibaba. I'm sorry. Shut you down.
um how do you think the hermit felt? about all of this?
Oh, she's probably a little annoyed the fact that she's just like, hey, it's not my job to do these things for you. It's not my. I'm not one to like. I'm here to give a safe haven and to point out bad things that are happening. It's not my responsibility to save you and help you. And so she's kind of curmudgeon, kind of like exasperated. Like I don't know what to tell you. I and on the other hand, she's like, I don't even want your dumb tiara. Get out of here. Like if you don't want to be a part of my if you don't want to be welcome under me, that's fine. But she still holds a she still looks out for them because they are still considered outsiders and outcasts.
But if they
But
ever knew how much that she was still kind of looking out for them, they would be mortified.
yeah, they would be angry and mortified and and yeah.
I wonder if maybe part of her refusal to like get more involved in retrieving the tiara might have been just another branch of her role as someone who points out the parts of the traditions that are like that have been carried on too long and are too old fashioned. Like
That is true. She
maybe
could
she
be.
was kind of being like, guys, you don't really need the tiara anymore.
That is
And
true.
you've been chased from country to country because of this thing. Is maybe you should let it go.
Just let it go.
And
Oh,
the bears maybe weren't ready to hear that, or didn't see things that way, didn't agree with her, and
hmm. I like that. That's a great idea. Okay, now it's my turn to draw.
turn.
Okay, keep getting black cards. So this is an 8 of clubs. 8 means I just draw with that many stars, and clubs is bravery, adventure, war. So let me go ahead and draw somewhere with 8 points. Okay.
Of those games that really tests your storytelling chops, because even though we're working with a set cast of characters, it's not like we're just, I don't know, playing your average tabletop game with a DM. It's like the DM has to come up with all of this stuff, and then the players kind of react to it and
Mm-hmm.
exist within it, and it's a different kind of creativity.
Yeah, it's still creativity. and this is like super off topic, but I really like games in that style with like a GM and players where the players also have a lot of agency in creating the world around them.
Yes. I
Um,
listen to the Friends at the Table podcast, and what the DM often does is like ask the players to sort of name and describe an NPC. Like, so you're meeting someone to gather information. What kind of person do you think you're meeting? What's their name? What's their occupation? Instead of just building the entire world for them.
yeah, and that's really great. Sorry, I'm drawing.
He's still drawing.
I'm writing the name. Ah, dang it.
You're doing so well. Do you want to just tell me and I'll do it?
No, I got it. I
Even
wrote
though
it.
your non-dominant hand writing with a mouse is still
It's legible.
it's still almost more legible than my like writing with my dominant hand handwriting.
Eh. My actual dominant, because I'm a lefty, my actual dominant hand is not that great either. So, but yeah, this is the feline because it looks like a
Feline.
kitty, and I'll
And
leave
that
it up to
was
you. Adventure, bravery, war, I believe.
Venture, Bravery, or if
If
you
you want to,
could,
yes.
yes, draw me a prompt card.
So many black cards. Three of spades.
Three of spades. That is illusion.
Ooh.
We haven't done any stories with the seer yet, so I kind
No.
of want to do something like that.
Okay. It fits.
Adventure, bravery, war, and illusion. And the feline. So I say that I want to do something with the seer, but I really. Give me a minute. Come on, brain.
Come on, brain.
Any any ideas from the chat? Throw me a word.
Give me a bone. Throw Vico a bone.
Throw me a
Bones.
prompt. Bone.
Give me bones, kid.
Your bone. Bone.
Bone. Hey, there's a joke that's not ours.
That's not ours. And Brooklyn 99 is kind of canceled because we're all wary of TV shows about the police now for good reason.
For a very good reason. Chat is eerily quiet. You're on your own.
I'm on my own. Something about the seer, a feline, adventure, and illusion. Cats can see the future. Cats can see the seer.
That's the whole thing. That's it. That's it.
There was okay.
Tell me about the first cat.
The first cat. The first cat. The first. So I'm gonna go like Greek mythology on this, you know, where it's like, so where do like this type of flower come from? Oh, it's because the gods turned this guy into a flower.
Okay.
And now there's just that flower. Like, you know,
Mm-hmm.
so there were disciples of the seer.
Okay.
And one of them was, I don't know if the seer really liked having disciples or wanted them.
It's really because it's really hard to tell what the seer is likes. I don't know if the seer has emotions.
That's fair. But these were sort of like demigods, like in that realm of time and space and godhood where like they're people but they can do things that people can't, which is fairly
Right.
common in mythology. These were people who had sort of studied the art of predicting the future and had sort of started getting kind of close to being able to do it, at least close enough that they were able to somewhat perceive the seer. But it started to like wear them down, unlike the seer who can exist in the future and see the future because that's Ko's domain.
Right.
These were just people who are meant to exist in the present. So every time they peered into the future, they sort of started to lose a bit of their present.
Okay.
And the seer watching this happen was kind of like, oh, well, that's kind of not great.
Yeah.
This could become a problem. And tried to told them all, like, okay, I get that you want to do what I do. And that's flattering, I guess, but like, stop. You gotta stop.
It's a noble goal, but you gotta take it back now.
Quit it. Um, but they had kind of grown arrogant. A little bit arrogant, or not necessarily arrogant, but they felt like this was what they needed to be doing. Like if they couldn't see the future, that they had gotten so close. Surely it couldn't be that bad.
Right.
But it was.
Yeah.
And with time, as they kind of ignored what the seer had told them and continued trying to see more and more clearly into the future, they sort of like dissolved,
Oh.
kind of like not dissolved like sugar in water, but dissolved like into time.
Oh, okay.
And so the seer just kind of hanging out in the future doing future stuff encountered like these scraps of this like dust of misplaced time people and was like, well, shit.
Well,
And gathered them up, and the seer had never been the sort to create. Just and was like, I gotta do something. I can't just leave it here.
it's cluttering up my
Like,
workspace.
it's ugh.
There's
And
people
just sort of
dust
like
everywhere.
mushed the people dust together and then just kind of like punted it back into the present. And what it formed was not a person, but a little four-legged creature with little pointy ears and a long tail and
Oh,
whiskers and soft fur, and this was the first cat.
first cat.
And though it was no longer human and it no longer had like the human capacity for like thought and language and using tools, etc., it had retained a little bit of the future within it.
Oh.
So cats can see into the future, and that's why sometimes they like stare at walls or get distracted by like dust motes because they're seeing the seer.
Ooh,
And the
okay.
seer, who maybe doesn't necessarily have affection for Ko's former disciples, um, but kind of feels responsible for what happened,
Yeah.
or in a
It's yeah.
way, is a little bit fond of cats too.
It's like those stories of families who get a cat and the dad is like not is like beforehand was like I don't want this, I don't want this cat, and then immediately after getting the cat is like I like this cat.
This cat is my best friend. Don't talk to me or my cat ever again. Um,
um
yeah, that's basically.
my question is, was the first cat, was he a good boy?
He was.
He was a
He
very
was a
good
little
boy.
bit mischievous. Um,
Was his name Oliver?
there's yes. there's okay, there's one set amount of mischief for all cats, And the more cats there are, the less mischief each cat has in their body. Like the smaller portion each cat gets. But at the time there was only one cat, so it got all of it.
You got all the mischief. He was one rowdy boy.
It was one rowdy boy, and he had just been punted out of the future and back into the present and was existing in some sort of weird, like,
Fugue state.
time paradox fugue state.
God, that's what quarantine is, a weird time paradox fugue state.
Yep.
Awesome.
Anyway, that's why cats are the way they are, because sometimes the seer is around, and cats can interact with Ko.
I love that. Okay. Your turn to draw, right? Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Draw me a card.
Oh, gosh, 2 of spades this time.
Just 2 stars. Wait. Is it? Is that how it works? 2. Draw a constellation with.
Or add 1 line to a constellation that begins with 2 stars. That began with 2 stars. None of them began.
We don't have any of those, so I'm just gonna draw. Wait, it's loading. Come on. Right here is looking kind of empty. Womp. Let me draw.
Oh. Ooh.
Making the most out of my 1 line. And that is the. I don't know, the staff.
Ooh, okay.
Anyway, it's yours to do with as you will.
Thanks.
Good luck.
So this is creation, discovery, invention. Let me draw another one for themes. Bam. Ace of hearts. Okay. Departure. I'd like to tell about when the hermit left society.
Ooh.
And how their trustee, how her staff that she carries with her came to be, because they're related. Let me think.
So yeah, you have a basis.
Yes. Okay. So way back when, in a time lost to the ages, there was a small little village that both Visaya and the hermit lived in. And the hermit was not called the hermit, but was named something else, but that name has been lost. Maybe the hermit got rid of, scrubbed the name away.
Literally about to be like, what was the name, Avery? But you circumvented that.
Haha. Visaya
Completely
knows.
circumvented having to name a character.
Visaya probably remembers it. So, and I will think about whether or not I will say that name at some point. Anyway, I have to come up with a name first. But I will do that later. Um, they were both kids, both childhood friends, just playing in the town square. They both like to kind of play pretend sometimes. Usually, Hermit would try and play like. Usually, the way Chick shook out was the Hermit was usually playing the villain of a story, and Viseo was always playing the hero, and always getting vanquished by Visea and stuff like that. And sometimes they'd switch it up. Hermit would be the hero, and Visea would try to be a villain. They were not a very good villain, though. Um, they even playing pretend, they didn't like being mean to the Hermit or to anybody really.
Whereas the hermit is like you and loves to be mean with no consequences.
As long as there's no consequences, I'm fine being mean. um, um, and sometimes they're rough. They're playing their pretend play. Got a little rough. Um, and one time they may have, while playing in the town square, knocked over a stall.
Ooh.
And the owner of the stall got particularly angry and upset with them. Visaya, of course, helped clean up and apologize so much. The hermit was, well, the hermit was the cause of the stall tipping, and the shop owner took a special ire towards her, and being
They're just kids.
they're just kids, but yeah. Um, what else? Sorry, I'm just thinking.
Take your the last 5 minutes displaying my trichotillomania on uh
I wasn't gonna say
on the
anything. um, but that day started the first day of where the hermit felt sort of not quite belonging in the little village. And things sort of just compounded from there, just the way that the hermit acted and carried herself. She just drew a lot of attention on her, but not for good reasons. And while contrary, Visaya also had a lot of attention drawn towards them, but for good reasons because they were so helpful and so kind. And it wasn't like the hermit wasn't kind. Um, it was just her otherness really, really,
that's the worst kind of relationship to have.
yeah.
It's like I know you're a good person, but oh my god.
And Visaya felt so bad about it. Visaya noticed these things and tried to be like, "Hey, look at my best friend Hermit. She's doing so great." Um, but it was the final, I guess, the straw that broke the camel's back kind of thing. They were just returning from the woods after going on some made up adventure. And they both were, well, the hermit had found a particularly nice branch, nice long branch to carry, to hold. And they said to themselves, well, we can pretend to be an evil wizard or something like that while playing pretend to help enhance their play. But having a long object, swingable object in a town square, um, is a kind of a recipe for disaster. um, and they caused a lot of chaos. um, that Visaya, of course, helped clean up, but the hermit wasn't so lucky. Did not get off scot free. Um, she was banished from the town square, and much to Visaya's dismay, she left the village, and that was the first day she stepped away from society and hoofed it out on her own.
Aw.
Yeah.
All over a stick.
Oh, a stick. Yep. But she keeps that
And
staff with her.
systematic ostracization by an insular community.
That, but also a stick.
Also a stick.
Yeah. There's that story.
So, when did the hermit like decide or become like old lady hermit as opposed to young hermit,
Oh yeah.
baby
Um
hermit?
it was sort of a progression over time of just being by herself and sort of because I would think that she is, while she does like look out for other outsiders and other outcasts of society, she spends most of her time alone. And I think she sort of forgets, she the kind of power she has, she forgets about herself, about her appearance, and it just sort of morphs into this old version of herself to kind of represent her personality and her actions. Um, it's kind of same how Visaya's appearance can shift. Um, they often take the form of a bird to get around places, but they also stay young, and because of their uh, opinions on their naivete and their optimism. Yeah.
Nice. I love that. It's like a reverse Sophie from Howl's Moving Castle.
Yeah.
She
I
forgets herself and is just elderly.
I have never seen that movie. So
It's good. It was a formative influence for Larval Vico, so
I love it. We should watch it sometime. We'll figure
we
it out.
should.
Yeah.
Very different from the book, which I also read.
Oh, well, I'll
Still
probably
good
also
though.
read it. Yeah, good. All right. We've been going for about 2 hours or almost 2 hours
Yes,
now.
we have.
You think this is a good stopping point?
I think it's a good stopping point.
Okay. I really love just like last time, I'm probably gonna save this picture and see. Ooh, as a JPEG. Hell yes. Yeah.
And perhaps we will continue filling it out because unlike last time, we actually made a Starscape with enough space.
Yeah, we have a lot more space to
Um,
fill out, and I have some notes here, but we'll if we do come back to it, we'll probably forget, but that's okay. We'll just make new stories. But yeah, thank you so much for watching us play this wonderful game. Again, you can check out the one true Ryan Khan uh, on Twitter and on itch.io, the creator of this wonderful game.
I would like to
And
thank the one true Ryan Khan for creating this game. So
it's so good.
such a neat game. I love it.
It's so cute. It's so cute in its simplicity, and I think we said this before, but I'll just sing its
It's
praises.
simple in a way that allows for more complexity as we like create our stories.
Yeah.
But it's not so simple that there's like no guidelines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's not like there's several pages for the PDF. It's not like a single page thing. Not that there's anything wrong with those types of games either. There are some really great one page RPGs. Like the What's a Vaporwave was a one page RPG that we just did last week, which was a ton of fun.
Not been disappointed by any of the games that we have played
No,
for this
and
stream.
yeah, and that's just attesting to the power of indie creators. Ha
Oh,
ho ho. Plug. Support
anyway,
me.
I love this game. I would love to play it with a larger group. I would
Yes, that would be so much fun. Sorry.
um glad we decided to play it a second time.
Yeah, and we'll probably play it a third time some way down the road when we're in between games that we haven't picked yet. So yeah, so you can tune in again next Saturday when we pick a new game. I will announce that game probably the day of. um, but
That's what happens.
it's how life goes. But you can also catch me right here at the same channel tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, where I will be playing some game, probably Among Us or maybe Minecraft. We'll see. We'll see.
Minecraft. Pixelmon.
Yes, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see if my computer can handle running a server,
We'll
playing
see.
Minecraft,
Yeah.
and streaming at the same time. Um,
Fair point.
I have a lot of RAM. I got a lot of RAM for that specific reason. So hopefully it might work. Anyway, Vico, where can we find you?
Can find me also on Twitch. I stream I do a digital art stream every Monday at 8. I am Small Vico, SMOLVICO.
Hell yes.
You can also find me on YouTube, where I post some Let's Plays. I haven't updated in a while, but I'll get around to it. I am at A Small Vico, ASMALLVICO.
Nice. Yeah. And you can find all these videos right at YouTube at Avery Sacente, SACCENTE. And one of these days, I'm gonna like get a little thing to put under our faces in the stream that has our names, because that would really help. So I don't have to keep spelling my name every week.
Right.
I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out eventually. Yeah,
You can also find our podcast on Anchor.
Yeah, on Anchor, Ars Poetica. I don't think we've ever mentioned it. Like we've mentioned it once, but we haven't plugged it.
Was thinking about it because I really need to work on the first episode of my podcast.
Yes, yes, you do. But yeah,
At some point, I will be launching a podcast about archaeology, anthropology, and all of the weird and wonderful topics that covers.
I'm so
be on the
excited
lookout
for that. Yeah, but you can find the podcast that we do together, Ars Poetica. It's on Spotify, Anchor, iTunes, everything, where we discuss poems and we talk about poems and stuff like that. Eventually, we'll release a new one.
Really off topic.
We get really off topic sometimes, but it's fine. All right. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great evening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.